Okay, in this video, let's take a look at Rickie Fowler's golf swing. A little comparison of recent swings plus some old ones. This is an older swing here to sort of see some of the baseline tendencies he used to have, things that kept him hitting the ball a little more consistently than he certainly has been over the past couple seasons. His ranking certainly dropped, so that would be interesting to see what might be happening with his swing that is different now than it used to be. And certainly with this swing here, I love the backswing angles here. It's going up into a good swing plane. Club face is in good enough position here that it's not too open, and certainly out in front of his hands. And as he gets up to the top here, positions I like would be the ultra flat, the left wrist just straight over, even slightly bowed, club face in good position, and not overly loaded in the legs. I think he looks very sort of normal here with the pressure, and I think the pressure is flat along this foot. This back foot looks flat on the ground to me, and I think in some of the videos we see some weight coming off that foot strangely in the backswing with different pressure points, which looks like it's affecting his downswing. And this one here, he's able to stay sort of athletic at this point with the legs. The club is in no way in jeopardy of getting under the plane. I'm sure the camera angle is a little askew here, downhill shot, but still that club well above the plane. And now we have a club face and a wrist that are working beautifully together to keep that ball under control. Legs still holding very nicely, posture still good. And through the impact zone, we can see here, he's very much on the ground with the feet, not too high up here with this back heel, which allows him to stay in posture easier with the body and then get the club working its way around to the left on the plane, and also without a lot of face rotation. You look at the club here, still very square to the plane, and as it comes up past his left shoulder here, we can see the face of the golf club, which means it hasn't flipped over, which we see in some of the recent swings where there's more flip going on. So I think the leg work here, certainly he's using his legs athletically in the downswing here, but he's not jumping out of his posture like we see. He's certainly much more cleared as well. If you look at how much more hip clearance he has, he's easily 45 degrees open here. And in some of the recent ones, he is not nearly as open, more of a raise up and a jump. This one here, a pretty recent video from current season. And what we'll see here on this one is this back foot, especially if you watch the heel, watch the pressure in the heel. It's actually coming off the ground as he's reaching the top of his swing. So he's certainly moving into the right leg or loading, but he's not loading in such a way that the pressure is keeping this foot down. And so the pressure moves to the toes. This foot, or this knee, the left one rather, moving well out beyond the toes, which is a lot of movement in the legs. Then as he comes down, he's up off of the feet quickly and not nearly as open. Sort of a jump stop flip. And that's a recipe for rights and lefts. So you tend to get the club working its way slightly under the plane, face a little more open, and you can definitely get the two-way miss going with that movement. You can also see how his hands and arms are flying off of the plane here compared to the other video. Granted, it's a driver versus an iron, but this one could be going much more to the left instead of way out here off the plane. If we do a comparison to the iron swing, we can certainly see versus one where he's got the orange on. This one here, the golf club certainly way out in front more as he comes through the hitting zone. So with the legs not working quite as well, less rotation, you can see the hips not nearly as cleared at this point. There's not as much turn here. And the hands after impact much farther out off the plane, which once again, the farther the hands fly off the plane, tendency tends to be the misses right and left, because they'll fly off the plane usually because the player isn't rotating as well, or the face is in such a position, or the plane in such a position that he's having to recover something. But in his case here, he certainly just looks like he's not rotating. But if he is trying to do something different in terms of getting those legs overly active in the backswing, that could be the result. And certainly we saw with Tiger, when he struggled a lot, he would be down and up out of his posture. And with Rickie Fowler here, to me, it looks like He's just losing the ability to rotate as well as he used to, and that's getting his club off the plane on some shots on the way through. One more iron downswing to highlight here as he comes down. Because the rotation of the body is different at this point, we can see how the right arm for him would typically be along this plane line. Shoulders a little more open at this point, hips a little more open, and the hips would continue to rotate open, but instead everything moves its way out to the right. And that's a really interesting move. If you really watch how much the right arm is moving frame by frame off the plane, that's a lot of movement away from the plane for a player who, when he's playing his best golf, is going to be sending the golf club around this way, controlling the face and the plane, and of course just hitting it dead solid. I just think of him as a player who makes it look easy normally, so to see these movements where his legs look a little different, it's interesting to see what it'll take for him to get this thing back working the way he wants to, or is he just in the midst of a change? We'll find out. One last picture here, or one last video clip to look at from this angle. Good angle to watch this leg work. You can see his, kind of like I would say a little bit overly loading. This knee dropping tremendously. A lot of extra flex there. Quite a bit of flex here as well. Very hard to stay that low through the shot. So if he gets the legs working forward too much this way, and the legs straightened to where they can't rotate, they can't get around the corner, that can be the trouble point. And right here, you can see the hips sort of stall out about right here. The belt buckle's still sort of on this angle. Not really a full clearing. He's never been a player that's cleared like a McIlroy or some of the other players anyway, but his old look was definitely more rotational. And he would go from some knee flex and then using those legs coming through to what I would say there's an extra movement down there, and then he's having to come up with the legs. And we know that's, like I said, sending the golf club this direction out here, which twists the face too much at the bottom and causes those right and left misses. So we'll finish up with this last clip, the same one we looked at earlier, just now that you can see such a big difference in the way the right arm is working. Right forearm more along the plane here, hands and shaft back on the plane, and moving much more around to the left. Hips more open. That to me would be more of a classical Rickie Fowler look on the way through. And like I said, I can't wait to see him back on the scene playing well. One of my favorite players to watch. And I hope he gets his ball striking where he wants to get it as soon as possible so we can see him back up on that leaderboard. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for this video of Rickie Fowler. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did so, please hit that subscribe button. If you liked the video, hit the like button as well. And we'll see you in the next one.